In this video, I'm going to quickly show you how to fix your MacBook if it's stuck here on a screen that looks just like this one, which is also known as the black screen or the dead screen. This can be actually due to various reasons. You might be in a scenario where your MacBook simply is in a deep sleep, or you might be in another scenario where your laptop actually turns on, but the screen keeps on getting stuck here on the black screen. I'm going to show you all the possible solutions for this problem right here so we can get rid of it and get your MacBook up and running. In my case, for example, I do have in here a MacBook M1, but do not worry if you do have a different one, because the process to diagnose and fix the MacBook is exactly the same. In my case, my MacBook turns on. I can hear the chime, the noise while it's turning on, but it simply doesn't project anything here on the screen. As you can see, if I tap here on caps lock, it keeps on lighting here green and gray, okay, which means that my keyboard is actually working, but the laptop simply is stuck here on the black screen. So I'm going to show you how to fix this issue as well as any other issue which may be similar, or if you are in a scenario where your MacBook simply doesn't turn on. Hey, my name is Shaq, and in this channel I help you fixing tech related issues. So if you're into tech content, consider subscribing here to the YouTube channel. So here we go. As I've said, I've got in here a MacBook M1, okay, and I do have the charger as well here. I do have the socket as well as the Type-C cable in here, so we can properly diagnose starting from the charger itself to see if it's feeding up some power here to our MacBook or not, to find out if the problem is here on the MacBook or with the charging cable or socket. Now, the very first thing that I would recommend you guys to do is to open up your MacBook, connect the USB cable into the Type-C socket, plug it into your power outlet source, and then connect the other end here into the laptop, okay? Next up, we're going to try turning the MacBook on. This is the very first step in here to see what actually happens. There we go, tapping the power button once. Let's wait for a couple seconds. If nothing happens, tap it for the second time, wait for a couple more seconds, tap it for the third time, tap it one more time if it's not turning on yet, wait for a couple seconds, tap one more time, and here we go. So in my case, on my laptop here, I'm able to hear the chime sound of my MacBook turning on. You might be in a scenario where you're unable to hear the chime sound. Do not worry, but if you hear the chime sound, that's a plus point, because it means that your MacBook is actually responding to whatever you're doing in here. It means it's responding to the keyboard combination, it's responding to whatever you're doing in here, but simply it's not projecting the image. Do not worry if you're not able to hear it, no problem at all. I'm going to show you how to diagnose in here in a much advanced step. So next up, if you're able to hear the chime sound, what I would recommend you guys to do is to simply close a bit the screen, and I want to check your keyboard in here. Try to see if you see any light, if you see the backlit of your keyboard lighting in here. If it's lighting, it means that it's actually responding, and try tapping here on caps lock, okay? So if you see the caps lock turning green and going back to the gray color, that means that your computer is working and it's 100% responsive. So it's just the image which is not actually being projected. So that's one more tip to double check so you're actually sure what is actually causing your MacBook to not turn on. Now, in case it doesn't respond to anything in here that I've talked about, we're going to double check the charger. So I would recommend you guys to inspect the charging cable in here. You want to check like from corner to corner to see if you do have any wire coming out or any point that looks damaged, and you want to replace it. Try with a different cable but with the same socket, or simply replace the socket, connect a different socket into the same cable just to see if it responds, if it turns on while having the charger connect. Now, if none of this helped, we're moving into the next step. So in the next step, while your laptop is still turned off, I want you to try tapping your power button again for several times. I'm talking about 6 to 7 times. Tap once, wait a couple seconds. Tap for the second time, wait a couple seconds. Third time, wait a couple seconds. Fourth time, wait a couple seconds. 5, wait a couple seconds. 6 times, wait a couple seconds, 7th time, and see if it turns on. If it simply doesn't turn on, do not worry, we're moving into the next step. Now here, this next step is exclusively for Intel Macs. In my case, I've got an M1, so it won't work here, but if you do have an Intel Mac, which is an old MacBook with old Intel processors, what you need to do is the following. You want to position your finger here on left shift key of the keyboard, and then you want to position it on control as well. I'm not pressing right now, I just want you to position your finger, so it's shift, left control, option, as well as power. So you want to position your fingers in here, and you want to press and hold all of those keys for 7 seconds, okay? Remember, this is only for Intel MacBooks. This is how it goes. You want to press and hold, and you won't release it for 7 seconds. We're now at 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you're going to release all the keys, and you want to tap once on power to see if your MacBook turns on. See, we actually heard the chime in here, but you might be in a situation where you still do not hear the chime. No problem, I just want you to try this combination to see if it works out to turn on your MacBook. This is a process where we do reset the SMC to see if it turns on. Now, if it doesn't turn on, no problem, we're moving here into the ultimate step, which is the step where most of the MacBooks actually get fixed. Now, for this last step, the very first thing we're going to do in here is actually close the MacBook, okay? And then we're going to flip the MacBook up, down, like this. What we want to do in here is very simple. Do not panic, do not worry. We simply want to unscrew all these screws in here and then reconnect a specific connector down there. Now, in order for this to happen, we're going to need a screwdriver, which is this one right here. It's a very basic screwdriver. You can get it on Amazon. I've linked it down in the description box below, so where you can actually buy it from in order to unscrew these special screws that we do have here on our MacBook. And do not worry, because this screw works for any MacBook model. So first things first, we're going to take the screw in here, and we're going to actually position here on every small screw, and we're going to rotate it left to unscrew. Here we go. I've removed the screw. I just want to show it to you guys how it looks like. It's something very small like this. Now, please be aware that usually the screws here at the top are actually different from the other locations. So I want you to actually position somewhere where you can actually remember where that specific screw came from. So this one, I'll just keep it here just for me to recognize that it belongs to this location. I'm gonna unscrew the second one. There we go. Second one goes here. Third one. There we go. Here at the left. Fourth one. There we go. One more down here. As you can see, this one's much shorter than the other one over there. Let's remove the fifth one. Keep it here. There we go. Sixth one. Seventh one. 8, 9. So there we go. I've removed all the screws, and as I've told you, I've actually represented them in a specific position where it's easy for me to actually locate them after, right? So the next thing we're going to do in here is simply open up the back panel by pulling up here from the back. Now, please be careful, because you do have a few hinges in here that need to be disconnected. As you can see, it's a bit hard. So what we're gonna do is simply pull it back gently. You're gonna hear the first click, which means that you've disconnected the first hinge. Now let's disconnect the second hinge here. Here it's much lighter now. Let's go to the right side here. There we go. The second hinge is disconnected. Now, please be aware that while detaching the back panel, you want to see if you do not have any wire attached. A few MacBooks actually do have some wires attached in here, so you need to be gentle so you do not rip them off, okay? So be gentle and remove the back panel from the MacBook. This is how our MacBook actually looks like from inside. So in here we do have the motherboard, and here we do have the battery cells. This is the battery cell. This is the battery cell, and this is the battery cell. Basically, on all MacBook models, the batteries are mostly located here, downwards, here, like surrounding the trackpad in here. So there we go. It will be something so close to this. So what we want to do in here is basically find out the battery connector which connects to the motherboard in here, and we want to disconnect it and reconnect it. That will actually make your computer wake up from a deep sleep. This is a very common problem on MacBooks. So most of the batteries, they're actually connected to the motherboard, either here or here, somewhere around here. It's easy to spot. The connector usually will look like this. As you can see right now, I'm showing here a different MacBook layout, which is a 2014 MacBook where the connector is located right here. As you can see, it's similar to this one, but it's located here. So what I wanted to say is that if you're having a hard time locating the battery connector, do not worry. Simply leave down in the comment section down below a comment with your MacBook model, and I'll definitely guide you to show it to you where your battery connector is located. It's super easy. You can also type it online on Google, like, where is my battery connector located for my MacBook XYZ. Okay, so the only thing we want to do in here is simply deattach or simply disconnect and reconnect. So if you do have an M1 MacBook, which is a very common MacBook with this issue, all you need to do is simply pull up this little metal that we do have in here, which is actually a safety lock. Okay, so there we go. This is how it looks. And the next thing you want to do is simply pull it up. Okay, so this is how it goes. There we go. We've successfully disconnected the battery from the motherboard. And this is how it goes, for example, on this 2014 MacBook right here. There we go. Same process, just without the safety lock. So in here, what we're going to do next is simple. We're going to keep our MacBook like this. We're going to open it up upside down in this position, keeping it like this, and make sure that you do not have anything touching the back of your MacBook. Next up, we'll simply connect the power charger in here, and then we're going to try turning on our MacBook. So just tap the power button for a few times, once, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, and see if it turns on. Once it turns on, we're going to close our MacBook. Immediately, we're going to disconnect the charger in here, and then we're going to reconnect this battery connector in here. This is how it goes. Simply press it. Once you hear the click over there, it's done. Now you want to double check it from this angle to see if it's well connected and well fit. Okay, so you want to press it a bit, and next up you want to simply attach the safety lock that we've got in here. Okay, it's right here. We're going to actually press it down. There we go. It has locked completely. Next up, we're going to reattach the back panel here into our MacBook by simply taking it right here. Okay, in the correct position, of course. You want to simply attach it, and you want to press, because you do have two clicks, right? One here, the second hinge is right here. There we go. Done. Now the next thing is to actually reattach the screws. There we go. This one belongs here, this one here, this one here, this one here, this one right here, here, and then here, right here, here, and last but not least. Next up, we're going to screw all these screws, starting from the ones here at the top. Okay, simply insert the screwdriver, rotate it to the right, be gentle while performing this. There we go, there we go, there we go. Here as well, here as well, here, here, as well as here. Now, once this is done, we're going to flip back our laptop, connect back our charger in here into our laptop, and then open it up to turn it on one more time. Now, see if this fixed the problem. In most cases, this should fix the problem. Now, if it simply doesn't fix the problem after performing this step of reconnecting the battery, this is most probably because your screen is having an issue or the motherboard itself is actually dead. Trust me, this is the main step that actually they're going to perform at the service center if you take your MacBook there. Now, last but not least, you can also try connecting your MacBook into an external monitor. Okay, you can connect an HDMI cable or an adapter to an HDMI cable and then connect it to an external monitor to see if the image is projected. In case the problem lies on your screen, it's going to project the image, but alternatively, if the problem is with your motherboard, it won't project anything. And the problem is actually much deeper, and you can only approach a service center to fix in that case. I hope this video really helped you, and if you do have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll make sure I get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching Fixed by Shaq, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.